This is Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, a podcast and radio program presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan.
Driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
And now, here he is, your host, Jim Ervin.
Baby, I'm home.
Well, thank you so much, Parker. And hello there. I'm Jim Ervin, and welcome to Time Signatures. Today's episode is super special to me because I'm honored to be welcoming back someone I consider a friend. And she holds the distinction of being my first guest when I took the video route for this podcast. Only this time, she isn't coming to me from London. She has come back to Sweet Home Chicago. And speaking of Chicago, you know what time of the year it is. Oh yeah, the Chicago Blues Fest is just around the corner, June 5th through the 8th at Millennium Park. The largest free blues festival in the world is sponsored in part by Visit Mississippi, the legendary Rosa's Lounge, ChicagoJazz.com, the Chicago Cubs, and Buddy Guy Radio. And here to talk about all the details with me is the beautiful and talented author of 50 Women in the Blues, and also an incredible blues photographer, Jennifer Noble. Jennifer, welcome back to Time Signatures and welcome back to Chicago.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You're a pretty good photographer yourself.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for the kind words for me. I've seen some of your photos. You've got it going on.
Well, I think the last time you and I talked, we agreed that we had a very similar eye when we do our photography. And anyway, so Chicago is your hometown, and I could think of no better person to talk about Blues Fest. How many years have you been a part of this, either as an attendee or a photographer, in whatever capacity?
Well, I've had a photo pass since 97.
Wow.
And it's so cool that, you know, I've tried to hold on it all these years, and I've been really lucky because it's not that easy to get. You know, they only give out a limited amount of passes. So I'm always excited when I get approved for another year, because you never know, you know. But my editor, Linda Kane of Chicago Blues Guide, is the one who applies for the pass for me.
Okay.
And so I've been a part of her since 2008 when we founded Chicago Blues Guide together. And
Very cool.
So that's who I represent when I'm in the photo pit at the
Very
Blues
neat.
Fest.
Now, for those that have never attended this blues festival, there are some important bits of information to be aware of, and we're going to delve into those things as we go along here. So I want to start with the stages. There looks like there's 3 by my count. They add a 4th on Saturday and Sunday, but the 3 mains are the J. Pritzker Pavilion, the Mississippi Crossroads stage on the South Promenade, and Rosa's Lounge on the North Promenade, each providing an incredible lineup of blues music, yeah?
Yes. Yes. So it is always exciting that when we see all these artists come up from Mississippi, because they generally don't come up here except for this one time a year. We may occasionally get somebody, but it's uncommon. So, and I tend to be more of a soul, you know, blues fan instead of a rock blues person, but that's just me personally.
Yeah.
So
that's all right.
that Mississippi stage is just loaded with these soulful artists. So it's always so exciting for me. And even though it's quite a walk from the other 2 stages, it's worth the trek, you know. And besides, there's food and drink on the way there.
Okay. Makes it worth the trip, right?
Yeah, but they used to have when it used to be set up in Grant Park, they used to have 20 vendors with all kinds of different food, and now they don't have those vendors anymore. But what you might want to know is that it's a very short walk to Michigan Avenue, where there's a lot of because it's on Michigan Avenue, where there's lots of restaurants. And also another really cool thing to know is that there's food trucks just past the Mississippi stage. If you keep walking past the Mississippi stage and keep walking south, you'll come on to, let me see, I want to say Madison or Monroe. Anyway, you can't miss the food trucks. And there's lots of course, taco trucks and whatever else out there, hamburgers. So and the reason I'm telling you that is because the menu is very, very limited inside the fest since it moved to Millennium Park. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
But that's just the way it is. So it's really good to know that you can quickly walk outside and get these to these other food trucks.
And don't
get
forget
food.
the Chicago hot dogs while you're in town too, man.
Well, those you can get inside the festival, but you know
Okay.
what? It's funny, they don't put all the trimmings on. They don't
Oh
have all the
man.
trimmings available inside the park. It's crazy. I don't know why, but they just give you mustard, ketchup, and everything's kind of in packets or coming out of a container. So it's
Yeah.
just relish, mustard, and ketchup or something. I don't know why, because we're known for our hot dogs with all the trimmings. So anyway,
Well, so
uh,
let's turn the page here and talk just a little bit about Thursday. It's not just about music. They have a conference that features some incredibly cool things that you're going to tell us about, and also a double bill concert for Thursday evening. I would
yeah.
love to hear about this. Tell me about the conference and that double bill, man. I'm excited about
Well,
that.
the Remova Theater is a beautiful, beautiful theater, which is probably from the Chicago Blues Fest. It's 15-minute Uber ride or cab ride.
Okay.
But if you do decide to drive, you can usually find parking outside this theater. The movie theater reopened about 3 or 4 years ago, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful theater. So for the last 2 or 3 years, they've hosted the pre-show to the Blues Fest there. And so it starts out with a Living Blues panel discussion with some big veterans of the blues scene that've been in the blues, since the 1960s. So if you
Okay.
want to catch and learn a lot about the blues, you want to go see these guys. Jim O'Neill, Scott Barretta, Brett Bronner, Bruce Ziegler, and Dietrich Farr. And it's moderated by Dick Sherman, who's a walking encyclopedia of the blues. And then that's 4 to 5. So it starts real early. If you want to get in there and get a good seat, you probably want to get there around 4 o'clock. It's a pretty good sized theater, and there's a balcony, so that's kind of nice. And pretty much seating for all. And then 5 to 6:30, they're going to interview Bobby Ross. Julia Miller, president, CDO, Delmark Records, is going to interview Bobby
Wow.
Ross, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And then they have the music starts at 7:30, 8:30 with Billy Branch and the Sons of Blues. Billy Branch just won a BMA and a Blues Music Award in Memphis for his harmonica playing. Congratulations,
Hmm.
Billy. And then Bobby Rush is on from 9 to 10:15. And I
Wow.
don't believe that this might be Bobby Rush's only appearance. So catch him if you can. He's around 90, in his young 90s. So you never know how many more times you'll get to see him. But he tours nonstop. So catch him if
Yeah.
you can. He's a load of fun. So
And
that's
don't forget,
the
folks, this
prelude.
this this is a free event. You have to RSVP early. It's first come, first serve. So if you
Yeah.
want to check this out, make sure you do that. Now, since we're talking about lineups, I gotta flip the page and talk about Friday. Would you please whet our appetites just a little bit?
Okay. So the Roses Lounge stage always features all Chicago artists that play in the
Hmm.
clubs on a regular basis. So if you want to familiarize yourself with who's playing in Chicago these days, you want to see the Roses Lounge acts. And then the Mississippi stage, obviously, is almost all Mississippi, but some of the artists like Nellie Tiger Travis, she's from Mississippi, but she's also from Chicago. She'll be playing on that Mississippi stage as well as the big stage when they
Okay.
do the tribute to Denise LaSalle, which is, I think, Saturday. But on the main stage at the Pritzker Pavilion, which, by the way, starts at 4 o'clock. So
Wow.
uh, you're going to have to make decisions on what acts that you want to see. But I would have missed Johnny Rawls, one of my favorites. He'll be on at 3 to 4:15 in the Mississippi stage. Cheryl Youngblood at Rose's Lounge, highly recommend her. And she would have been in my book, but just she got back to me too late. But anyway, on the main stage, I think the big thing here is they're going to do a BB King centennial tribute,
Very nice.
and with Christone Kingfish and DK Harrow, young
Wow.
guys. These are
Yeah.
young men who play the blues quite well. And I don't know who Jonathan Ellison is. I don't know. Do you know him?
I do not know the name.
Yeah, I'm going to have to look him up.
Sounds like we need to look him up, right?
Yeah, I know most all the names, but once in a while, there's a couple people I don't know. John Primer will be, John Primer, one of the last guys alive that played with Muddy Waters. He'll be on just before the BB King Centennial Tribute with Steve
Wow.
Bell, who's his longtime harmonica player,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
part of the Bell family.
Yep.
And the Bells are one of the most famous blues artists in Chicago. It's like the Bells and the Harringtons. There's a whole bunch of them that were born into the blues. Steve Bell
Right.
is the son
Right.
of Harry Bell. So anyway, you don't want to miss that one. And Don Tyler Watson, who I'm so excited that they finally booked her. She's from Canada, but she has won numerous awards and is a dynamic performer. And I'm always happy to see a woman on the stage.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like, the men sort of dominate, festivals and blues festivals. And so when I see a talented lady like Don Tyler Watson coming on at 5:15, I get so excited. So anyway, I think we should probably, there's so many artists, so many days.
Well, let's flip the page again, and we're going to talk about Saturday because the fourth stage gets added at the Harris Theater Rooftop Terrace, and they bill this as the next generation of blues, which really sounds interesting to me. And is that something new for Chicago Blues Fest?
No, that's something that's been going on a long time. Fernando Jones used to do what they called blues camps. He still does that all year long. And there's a lot of blues in the schools. Billy Branch has always been a big part of that. And so they used to just have it next to the Bean, kind of around that area. But now they moved it to the Harris Theater Rooftop Terrace. In previous years, the Rooftop Terrace hosted artists. It was just another stage, a fourth stage. But now they've moved the up-and-coming next generation of the blues over there, which is cool. We got God bless Fernando Jones. He's a professor at Columbia, I believe, Columbia University here. But he's been teaching young blues artists for decades, and he's traveled to a few places around the world doing it. He's an amazing guy. Is dedicated a good part of his life to teaching kids how to play the blues. He's a great guy.
Now, how about a peek? How about a peek at some of the Saturday lineup on the various stages? Just give me a little thumbnail.
I'm kind of I get bummed that I can't see everything because I have to get the big acts at the main stage. That's like I have to do that. But the Roses Lounge, I mean, not only Lynn Jordan, who's in my book, is going to start at 3:30, but Joe Barr and the Platinum Band. That guy is highly underrated. Like, he should be touring the world nonstop. He's just and the Platinum Band, says Joe Barr and the Platinum Band. Platinum Band used to be Otis Clay's band, for one, but the Platinum Band used to play like with a lot of soul artists. So we recently just lost one of the big members there, Scott, what's his name? Kind of Scott? Anyway, we just lost him. And then Theo Huff's going to close out the Roses Lounge. He's another soul guy, dynamic stage presence, and I'm just like bummed because I can't, you have to run back and forth to try to catch both of them. But you see, then again, at the Pritzker Pavilion, at 4:00 to 5:15, they're going to have a tribute to Denise LaSalle, which I find really exciting because your girl Thornetta Davis is going to be a part of that.
Nice.
Nora Jean Wallace, Nellie Tiger Travis, all three of those women are in my 50 Women in the Blues book for a reason. Uber talented, super talented, and that is going to be a highlight for me, obviously.
Very cool.
And there's that Miss Reese too, who's from Chicago. She's going to be with Jonathan Ellis, and there's that name again that I don't know who he is, but I know. But also, then it goes on, with three young, Stephen Hall and Joey J. Sayer play in Chicago all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to be playing with young Rao, who's making waves and taking names these days at 5
Okay.
5 to 6:15, and then Lattimore, Let's Straighten It Out was his biggest hit. I'm really glad they're having him back again, because he doesn't come up. He's a superstar. He doesn't come to
Sure.
Chicago ever, besides unless he's invited to the Blues Fest. It's the only kind of get to see him. And then Chris Stone's going to be just by himself closing out Saturday, so he's going to be playing twice. He's going to be part of that B.B. King Centennial tribute, and then having his own show, which is unusual. That's really unusual. They never, they don't really have that happen often. I've actually never seen that. But anyway, should we go on to Sunday?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, let's take a look at Sunday. It looks like a huge blues day at this event. So how about that lineup?
Okay, so the thing that I'm most excited about is that Mavis Staples is going to close out the Jay Pritzker Pavilion, 7:45 to 9. Mavis is my girl. She's from Chicago. She's 85.
Wow.
She's still, out there touring, and almost every time I see her, she brings me to tears, and probably will again, because by Sunday night I'll be so tired after 5 days of bluesing. I'll be emotionally weak. So, but Lurie Bell is going to be playing with Jasmine Frank Catalano. They recently recorded an album together. CJ Chenier, we're going to have some Zydeco. That's not common. From 5:15 to 6:15, so bring your dancing shoes. So for CJ Chenier and the Red Hot Louisiana Band, he usually plays at Fitzgerald's in Berwyn, one of our most popular clubs here in Chicago. But I'm really glad that they're bringing him to the big stage, And then I see at 3:45 to 5, there's going to be a big tribute. Willie Dixon's Blues Heaven Foundation is putting on a 75th anniversary with Muddy Waters' son, Mud Morganfield, Melvin Taylor. Oh, so some of these guys, Louisiana L, Joe Barr, Steve Bow. So this is some of these guys that are playing the day before. Joe Pratt and Joe Barr and Theo Huff's not in there. Anyway, that should be interesting. That should be pretty cool. And that starts off on Sunday on the main stage. And then, oh my gosh, and there's Rose's Lounge again with all the, Jimmy Burns. Jimmy Burns will be on there. Yeah, Jimmy Burns is a Chicago treasure, a Chicago legend. He'll be playing at 2:00 at Rose's Lounge. You don't want to miss him. Anyway, it's all good. It doesn't matter where you go. They spend a lot of time booking the very best talent that's available. To come to Chicago, and you can't go wrong. So, the main thing is just to enjoy the good weather, the sunshine, and there's lots of, like in the Roses Lounge tent is where they sell most of the merch, go pick up, records, albums, T-shirts. They also actually have another merch tent in the Chicago Blues Fest. The city has their own tent. But anyway, there's plenty of merch available, plenty of drinks, plenty of food, barbecue. It's right outside the Roses Lounge tent. The Roses Lounge tent is huge. It goes like way back. Seating, but you can also bring, like a portable chair. And I also think you can't bring in alcohol, but you can bring in your own soft drinks and food, which I didn't know you could do that for a long time.
Wow.
But that's pretty cool that you can bring in some of your own stuff. Yeah. What do you want to ask me? I'm going to tell you.
Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Well, there's also, if you didn't make it to the Blues Fest.
I don't want to cut you off because you are just so damn knowledgeable about this. People that are going definitely need to.
Can you tell I'm a little excited? I'm a little excited. This is
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
the thing that gets me the most excited. This is my big rah-rah, my big hurrah all year. I look forward to this. So one more thing I just wanted to bring up is that Maxwell Street, the famous Maxwell Street, is having a
Okay.
blues series on Sunday. So maybe you don't want to go into the Blues Fest anymore. Maybe you've seen enough. It's got a full lineup over there, including my friend Marty Big Dog Mercer, James Porter, DJ Omar Coleman, harmonica player is going to be there.
Wow.
Harmonica Hines, the legendary harmonica Hines. That's from 10 to 3 on Maxwell Street. It says the Maxwell Street Blues Series brings back on June 8th, Sunday, brings the blues back to the South Side roots with performances by, all the names I just mentioned. So that's kind of a cool thing that will be on Sunday in case you want to go over there. But I just want to mention one more thing. The lineup at Buddy Guy's for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th is pretty cool. For one thing, on the 4th, and Buddy Guy's, by the way, is very close to the festival.
You said it's within a mile or something?
Less than that. It used to be closer when it was at Grant Park, but now they moved it to Millennium, so it's maybe like, maybe a mile, but no more than that. But it's straight down Michigan Avenue and just up one block. So it's on Wabash and Balbo, Buddy Guys, which is one block off Michigan Avenue, and the festival's on Michigan Avenue. But I wanted to say something to Big Lou. I don't know if you know who Big Lou is. He used to live in Chicago.
I need to get that man on this show. I talked to him a year ago, and Big Lou, I'm going to apologize to you right now if you're listening. I will be in touch with you as soon as we get done with Chicago Blues Fest. I promise. I need to get this guy on. Go ahead.
He's good on Facebook at getting back to you if you contact him through Messenger.
100%
you can probably
my
reach
fault.
him.
Yep.
But he's done this before, and he did it last year. It's called Big Lou's Blues Fest Kickoff Party, and he's going to have some special guests, and it's not out yet, but I heard rumors that Don Tyler Watson might be part of that, which is really exciting. And so that would be at Buddy Guys on the 4th, and because the Ramova Theater's on the 5th. So in case you're in town, you might want to head over to Buddy Guys. All the clubs will have nonstop music. Even Fitzgerald's in Berwyn. Say you don't want to come downtown. A lot of people are like, I don't know if I want to go downtown. Well, the famous Fitzgerald's nightclub, which is in Berwyn, which is kind of halfway to downtown, is going to have lots of blues there too, including Mud Morganfield. Wow. We'll be playing there, I think, I don't know, 6. I want to say the 6th. But anyway.
Well, I got a couple more issues that we need to hit hard, because there's people coming in from out of town that may not have been here before. And we have to talk about parking, because it's anyone who knows, has been to Chicago, knows parking is available, but it's mostly ramps and garages. Am I correct?
Yeah. So what's really exciting, if you download the Spot Hero app, that's one of a couple of parking apps. So Spot Hero seems to be the best. There is an enormous parking garage underneath Millennium Park. And if you look ahead, underneath it, so you just walk right up where the Harris Theater is, where the Fernando Jones camp is, that end. You just walk right up, you're on Randolph Street, and you just walk right into the fest. So, and there's a couple entrances. There's the other end on Madison Street. You can walk out that way too. But anyway, it's so easy. So if you book in advance on Spot Hero, it's only, last year it was $14 for the whole day.
Wow.
That's a bargain.
That's pretty damn good.
In Chicago. Like I parked there at 11 o'clock and didn't take my car out till 10 o'clock, at night. So for $14 a day. And so that's pretty cool. And a good thing to know, but you're right there, and it's a huge garage. So there's plenty of room for everybody, but book in advance on that Spot Hero app, and you can, and the festival, which is nice about it, is you can go in and out of the festival. Just say you need a break from like some places won't let you in and out, Once you're in, you're in. But
Right.
that's not like the Chicago Blues Fest. You take a walk a lot outside, and you're really not that far from Buckingham Fountain, beautiful Buckingham Fountain. It's probably, 5 blocks or whatever or less. Anyway, there's so much beauty around there. And not only that, Millennium Park is just a couple of blocks from the Lake Michigan. You can see it almost from the festival, so it's really
Wow.
cool. Like, say you
Yeah.
just need a break from the music or whatever, right there. There's a couple of blocks down, and you're right on the lake, and can take a walk along the lake. Years ago, I had friends who used to pull up their boats, and they have parties, on their boats during the Blues Fest, and they stayed docked right
Wow.
there, right for days, So it would be so much fun. We just like after the fest, because the fest ends at 9, so you still got some
Right. Yeah.
hours,
You still got the rest of the night, man.
yeah, well, I used to do that too, but it's getting harder. I used to, go to the clubs till 4 o'clock in the morning and then try to get up because, Kingston Mines is open till 4. And then I try to get up and be there at 11.
Mm-mm-mm.
It didn't always work out, but but it's just so much fun. You don't want to miss anything. I just want to mention one more thing too. Cat Riggins is coming up from Florida. Cat Riggins.
Oh,
Cat
yeah.
Riggins, uber talented Cat Riggins, is going to come up from Florida and be performing at Buddy Guys on the 7th. So don't miss her if you can get in the
Wow.
club. Now, normally, I'm really gutted because during 6th, 7th, and 8th, the 3 days, Buddy Guys gets so packed,
I'll bet.
and you got to kind of get there early to get a seat. So I've learned over the years that since I can go there any night of the week, all year long, I just avoid it during the Blues Fest. That's just me personally, because I live here,
Sure. Sure.
But I would, if you could get in a door and you can get there early, say you're tired of the fest, go see Kat Riggins. She's in my book, and just, oh my God, she puts on such a performance. And I'm sad because I don't think by the time 9 o'clock comes, the club will already be full. And then it'd
Sure.
be like maybe standing room. I don't think I want to stand after being on my feet for 10 hours, but that's just
Agreed.
me. Some people have more energy and younger and can, can go for it more.
Yep. Well, Jen, I
But
want to flip the page here and ask you. I know that hotel accommodations are on everybody's mind. I know they're pretty costly downtown Chicago and probably in
Mhm.
short supply during these days. What would you recommend to the viewers to find accommodations?
Well, if I would, if you love the Blues Fest, you're probably going to go. You just book way in advance. A lot of people will book once they hear the lineup,
Okay.
but I'd even book. The lineup usually comes out at the beginning of April. But most people just like to go for the whole experience. So I would just book, in February or something like that. Now, most of the hotels are booked. The Congress is not too far, and that's where a lot of people book the Congress Hotel on Michigan Avenue. That's always been a favorite and loaded with people going to the Chicago Blues Fest. I don't know if it's any cheaper these days, and there could be last minute cancellations. Just say, you never know when you call because the hotels do get booked up, and you pray that there's no convention in town because Chicago is a big city for conventions. So
Yes,
if
it
something
is.
coincides with Blues Fest, oh my God, then try to find a hotel can be difficult, But not that there's a shortage, but they're not cheap. I've done everything. I've done the Airbnbs, which there's not a whole lot of those. I wish there was more Airbnbs, but I've done it all. The good news is the public transportation system is pretty good here. So it's pretty reliable. And of course, there's no shortage of Ubers or taxis. Make sure you got your Uber app working. Curb is an app that you would use to call a regular
Okay.
taxi. Curb, it's called CURB. But you can get around. You can get around Chicago. It's a cosmopolitan city that loves it's tourists. Everybody here is friendly, and it's just the Blues Fest is exciting. You meet so many people because everybody's that's there loves the blues.
Yep.
Well, likes the blues at least. That's where you're coming. So everybody has that commonality, you know. And but yeah, Chicago is a super friendly city. I'm so happy to be back living in Chicago. I've been gone 14 years living in London.
Wow.
So and I'm only 15 minutes from the fest by car.
And I
Or
know
I could
you
take a
you
bus
came
there.
back you came back last year for the fest, but you were still living in London at that
Yeah,
time until the end
yeah.
of this past year. So this has got to be an exciting time for you to be
It,
home for all of
it
this.
is.
Before I go any further, I know that you mentioned at the during the program, and I mentioned at the top of the program that you're not just a blues fan or a photographer. You also have referenced this incredible book called 50 Women of the Blues. I want you to
Right.
talk about this book for just a minute, and please tell people where they can go to order a copy for themselves. Would you do that for me?
Sure. Well, I don't have a website, but you can reach me at jukinjen, JUKINJENN at gmail.com. I do have a Facebook page. I am on Facebook. I'm quite active on Facebook under Jennifer Noble. Look for the one with the red hair. You can send me a message there. Um, uh, yeah. So what the book is about is I contacted women all over the world. My objective was diversity, and I had them write their own story, and they could say whatever they wanted about their journey through the blues. And then it was accompanied by my photographs. This was a collaboration with Aurora Metro Books, which is a London publisher. It was published in London. And I'm really proud of it because what it seemed to happen is these women are all coming together all the time. For instance, last week, Anne Harris, a violinist who's currently on tour with Taj Mahal and Keb Mo, or she's
Wow.
going to start the tour. She's practicing in Nashville. But the
Yeah.
night before, she hosted at this popular place called the Venue in Aurora outside of Chicago. She interviewed Joanna Connor, who's in my book. And it was so
Wow.
cool. She did such a great job interviewing. I haven't posted yet, but Lynn Orman Weiss did make a post on it. She's a big media person here for the blues. And it was just so great. It was such a great moment. I was just so proud of these two women in my book coming together. And I learned so much more about Joanna Connor than I said, I got to go back and reread the book now and see what you left out and what you put in. But anyway, I would like to do another book, because I feel like there's so many more women that I couldn't put in the book because of the size and cost of publishing.
Sure.
And but I have to find a publisher, that want to take me, want to publish it for me. But I think about it a lot. Now that I've done one, it should be a little easier.
I'm tickled here as I'm flipping through this. I open it up and here's Ruthie Foster. And
Uh-huh.
Ruthie, for people that don't know, I'm going to just make the announcement right now. Ruthie Foster is going to be my season 5 start off. She's going to be my kickoff interview. I had such a beautiful interview with her recently, and it was right after she won the Grammy. And I have to tell you, I have had such an incredible time working with the National Women in Blues, working with the Women in Blues Coast to Coast over in Chicago with Lynn Orman, Michelle Seidman, of course, with the National Women in Blues. And of course, I have always wanted to have an equal mix of men and women on my program, and I was having trouble getting the women to
Yay.
come. And
Oh,
a friend of mine introduced me to Michelle Seidman and said, you interview her, you'll never have a problem getting a woman on your show again. And voila, I've been inundated and I love it. I have Janova Magnus. She is going to be my season 4 finale. If you like Janova, she gave me a powerful hour-long interview. That's all I'm going to say. I've already probably said too much. But I just wanted to share with you and give you guys a heads up of what's coming up. Jennifer Noble, it has been a pleasure as always. I wish I could join you for this great event. Please know it
Yeah.
remains on the top of my bucket list. I just won't be able to get there this year, but perhaps next year. And we definitely need to stay in touch. What do you think?
Yes. Yes. I live the blues. So I always got lots to say.
Well, you
You
know
should
the rule.
bring me up.
You've been on here twice now, and anytime you have news of any value at all, you give me a call and you've got a microphone and an open invitation. How's that?
I love that. And thanks for, focusing on the women. I always feel there's a shortage out there, especially in Chicago. Can we send some blues women to Chicago? We need you. We got a few, but not enough.
Well, I'm gonna make another apology to Joanna Connor because I wanted to reach out to her a year ago and I did not. So I gotta find, because I've got her contact information somewhere over here. I need to find her. And I think the reason why I didn't is because she made her move down to Jamaica. And
Right.
so it's been hard to catch. I always look for her to make posts when she's in, Chicago.
Uh-huh.
So Joanna, I promise you, I'm going to reach out to you as well and get you on here. I would love to have you on as a guest, definitely.
I
But
just want to say that I posted a bunch of links. I videoed as much as I could
okay,
the interview that Ann did with her, and I posted a few links, and I'll post more of her the interview that she did with Ann, and they're on YouTube. So
okay.
I can send you some links just
Please,
for fun.
absolutely do. And between you and I, if you have a connection, an email for her, because she gave it
I
to me
do.
last year, shoot it
I
to me
do.
so I can get her an invite. I want to get her on. But
Nicest
Jennifer
person
Noble,
ever.
she is, and she's a hell of a gifted slide guitar player. From the first
Oh,
time when I saw her in Jackson, Michigan, a couple of years ago at the Blues Fest, I was blown away. I was
yeah,
absolutely blown away. And
yeah.
it was such an experience that, I mean, I'm not used to seeing women playing slide guitar like that. And she was tearing it up, man.
She does. She's lightning fast. And then what's cool about this interview that she did, she had an acoustic guitar because you used to see her an electric, and you used to see her play an acoustic guitar. She's lightning fast on that too. But
Wow.
I mean, she's toured the world numerous times. I think she's just
Yep.
slowed down maybe in the last decade. But my goodness, what she's given to the blues world over
Yes.
decades of being
Yes.
in love. But her story is fascinating. She's cool. She's a humble person, you know, uh,
Yes.
to interview. And I think you'll really enjoy speaking with her. And I will give you her email.
Yep. We will definitely take that and run with it and reach out to her immediately. I promise you that. And we'll make her part of the early part of season 5, because I'm already recording into season 5, which is not a bad
Well,
thing. So, Jennifer
no,
Noble,
I love
thank you
it.
so much once again for joining me on Time Signatures. Love you, appreciate you, and I look forward to meeting up with you.
Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun.
It surely has, even with the technical glitches early that nobody knows about.
Yeah, well, we made it.
Talk
Yay.
about the blooper reel. Well, listen, as
Yeah.
this episode comes to a close, please allow me to tell you about the Just Blues Music Foundation. Now, Just Blues is a foundation whose mission is to nurture the soul of the blues with a mission to protect and preserve blues heritage, honoring the originators of the blues and those who continue the legacy of the blues. Just Blues offers many cultural heritage special events, the annual Just Blues Music Awards and Conference, historical blues education programs for our youth, and so much more. You can make your tax-deductible donation today by visiting justblues.org. That's just without the T.org, and look for the donate button near the top of the page. And as always, thank you so much for your consideration. And that wraps up this edition of Time Signatures. Once again, my undying gratitude and thanks to Jennifer Noble, but also to you, for without you, none of this would be possible. Jim Ervin
Right.
reminding you, keeping the blues alive is everyone's responsibility, but preserving the history of the blues, one story at a time, is my mission. Until next time, so long, everybody.
This has been Time Signatures with Jim Ervin, presented by the Capital Area Blues Society in Lansing, Michigan. For more information on cabs, visit capitalareablues.org. You can find this episode and past episodes at lcconnect.org. The Time Signatures theme song, Michigan Roads, is used by permission and was written by Root Doctor, featuring Freddie Cunningham.
You know I'm trying, baby, driving up and down these Michigan roads, yeah.
Until next time, keep on keeping the blues alive.